Well, hello everyone, welcome to another video and welcome to my channel from myself, Fraser. Here we are today. We're going to take out this lovely, stunning Flock of Friendship F27 in the old the New Zealand Post delivery. Today we're going to be pretending we're going to put on our freight hat on today and pretend we're a freight pilot and fly an aircraft that used to in real world operate around New Zealand, the Flock of Friendship under Airwork, so a joint venture with Airwork, which is one of New Zealand's oldest airline companies, and NZ Post. And these aircraft would predominantly they'd fly these on the Auckland, Palmerston North, Blenheim, Christchurch route predominantly, and then they'll do the basically flying post and mail, and I believe they did the NZ Herald as well. And then these aircraft, just like what they are, freight, they'll just pop up randomly at many different airports, and I do vividly remember them flying into my hometown airport of Rotorua. And yeah, they just basically covered the whole country regarding freight. I guess you could say freight charter, sending freight to different airports all around New Zealand. And today we're going to do a little run up to Gisborne, and we might come back down to Blenheim, and we'll see whatever time we have. Who knows, I might go back to my old hometown of Rotorua. I do that a lot actually in my videos, so mixed. I can't think of where else to fly this, but yeah, popping up to Rotorua. Then maybe I'll do a return flight back here at Palmerston North, where these aircraft did operate from. So we'll jump into the cockpit, and we will this is such a lovely aircraft. I can't wait for this to be ported over to 2024. I do believe it works in 2024, but it is I do believe that it is that's odd. The stairs did used to work in this, but yeah, I do believe that the VOR function doesn't work, which is the big reason why you fly these planes. For some reason the stairs are not working, but we won't get caught up with that. We'll get into this cockpit and we'll start our startup, get it all set up for our flight. So we'll go and roughly enter in our weights. Just trying to think. We'll give this a go. I'm going to be doing the like instrument flying. FS HUD does do alright with that, but it just, I wish it would give you, I don't know, ability to know that this is just a instrument flying aircraft and not give you like RNAV approaches. So maybe I'll try and adjust it actually, but first we'll just load up our aircraft with the simple and easy to use fuel and weight tab. As you can see, it's just so self-explanatory. You don't have to be a airline expert to know that that should be in between here and not far back here, and it's just everything. Just these values are, especially when you're using the percentage, they're just so much easier to drag and get really accurate figures to your sim brief plan. It's, yeah, I just absolutely love this weight and balance page. So we're going to use 2300. We'll make it 24, and our total takeoff weight's going to be 16.7, so we'll scroll this all the way back to that. Looks good for me. So it's going to be sort of a lightish flight. You can't really get the cargo sort of there's no really like cargo variant in SimBrief, so yeah, we'll make do with that. And that looks good. We will now I'm just gonna cancel the flight. Bear with me a sec. I'm just gonna see if I can manipulate the I'm sure there was a way to manipulate this. We'll give this a go, okay? So just bear with me. All right, we will come into our flight plan. We're going to be landing on runway 32, I do believe. Right, let's give that a go, eh? And I don't think I can change that, but yeah, let's give that a go, eh? So we've got our weight now. We're gonna add our departure, which is runway. Actually, we'll start our SimBrief flight and let's see what they give us, which runway they give us. We'll push the magic B button anyway to set our altimeters, and then we'll come out up here. We'll click on the external power. Okay, so the steers come on when you're actually in real life they didn't have the big cargo door, they just had the little wee door. It's just superficial really, but right, we've got power into our aircraft, and now we're going to come up to here. We're going to turn on our radio masters. We will turn on the inverters, I do believe. We're all fueled up, so we'll turn on our fuel pumps. Turn on our window heaters. We don't need our fuel heaters. We'll leave that off just for the time being. We'll come up here and turn on our fasten seatbelt signs, even though we're just a cargo aircraft today. Turn on our emergency evacuation lights. Turn on our nav lights. Get a little bit of light in. So we're taking off from, I do believe it's just the radio, like I call it, I'm not too sure what the actual terminology is, but we're flying on the radio departure using the VOR outbound, so we can leave that for now while we continue setting up. We'll just go to this next radio here. Reset this because it seems to have a little bug there when you change the airports, the runways and whatnot. So we'll bring up, it's just annoying some of these don't have the charts. They have it when you like come into this page here, but it doesn't actually pop up onto this little thing down here, which is a little bit annoying. So I think it's going to be one of these ones. yeah, so that's going to be our departure. We'll add that into there like so. So we're going to be flying outbound on 68. So that is the runway heading. So we will select roughly 68. That will keep that, which is around about here. But we will keep this course button free for our actual course, this one here. So we'll get in and we'll tune in our radio frequency. So 13.4. This one is your main DME, so 13.4. It's unfortunate. So this one's only got one DME. Hopefully in the future they will continue to update this aircraft and give us a second. Oh, and I always do this. I always think that this is another DME, so I'll set this one up for Napier, like so. So that's our radios all sorted out. We're just going to tune in the course, which is going to be 25. And basically 25 carrying on to Gisborne. Right, that's our, pull these throttles back. Right, I think that's all. So we're going to set our fuel trim. So it's currently 19 degrees out there. So we're going to set that to 20% for our engine start. And for some reason too, when you do the initial trim, it scrolls back, as you can see, very quickly then. After a few turnaround flights, it seems to get slower and slower for some weird reason. Alright, we'll turn on, we don't need cockpit heating. Got no idea what these buttons do. I think they've got something to do with the altitude thing, but I don't really, because this is not real life, I don't really bother with that too much. Right, I think that's we're ready to depart now, so we'll get clearance from ATC. We'll shut our doors. Everything's all loaded up. And we'll do this for a bit but I don't think it really makes much difference because it does take off pretty quickly anyway. We'll just set it to that. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So that's 100, that's 110 knots. Right, let's go ahead and turn on the strobe light, the beacon light. That will come into here. We'll open up the start switch, set it to up, start the first engine, let it spool up. And then select that to open. You can hear the engine spool to life. It seems a bit quiet, doesn't it? Right, once it sort of stabilizes a bit, we'll go to lock position, and then we'll flick the switch across to port, and we'll start the port side engine. We'll turn on the generators as well. Go ahead and select open. I love this aircraft, it's such a cool aircraft. Right, that's locked out, and now we can come up here, select safe, select starboard, close these switches, turn on port. That was port, isn't it? Port. generators, and we can now turn on these alternators. Alright, we can now turn on the taxi light. We'll come across to here and just... oh no, we scroll up, so we're going to select aircraft for our power, and we can now turn on our pitos now. Right, release the parking brake, and away we go. We'll get our cruise clearance for takeoff. Right, we'll put some flaps. The engine sounds pretty good. Better get clearance for taxi, shouldn't we? Yeah, typical sort of... oh, actually, what I forgot to do while I'm here is I've got to set my takeoff trims. So all of those points suggest that it's going to be 100%, so we will go ahead and once we're on the runway we will select 100% while we're not busy doing other things. A typical day here in Palmerston North now with the ATRs, and you've got your Airwork 737 400 parked up in the distance there. Oh, do you hear that sound of the power there? I love that. The power down, that sounds so distinct. Alright, I'm just going to turn on the takeoff lights. Ready for departure. Backtrack down to the end of the runway. Right, we'll select these two, our trims to take off to 100%. And just do one little check around the cockpit. Everything looks pretty much all normal and good. We'll turn on our wing, our anti-air ice detection lights. Not that there'll be much icing today, mind you. Up in the clouds there, it could be a different story. Get some of that brakes going, and we'll use this little turnaround bay up here, and we'll head on out to Gisborne, the arguably one of the sunny capitals of New Zealand, also sunshine capitals, also the first part of New Zealand mainland that sees the light every day, every morning. Not only the first place in New Zealand but in the world that sees the new day. Although that is disputed now by some of those Pacific Islands. But definitely when the sun's low in the sky, I do believe that Gisborne is still the rightful owner of the first place in the world to see the sunshine, the new day. Alright, we'll just minimize that, we don't need that for yet. I love the hum of those. It's done. The guy that did this free version has done really well. I'm really happy with it. Right, we can now start thinking about rotating soon. Why isn't it? It's really sluggish today, man. Just lifting off there. I do notice it's being a bit temperamental today, this aircraft. Alright, we are in the air, which is good. Right, we are in the air now. We seem to be getting there. Such a lovely aircraft, this. I absolutely love this. Love flying this Fokker. And as much as I enjoy flying this, I cannot wait for a developer to go ahead and release a paid version, like a really good, unless this guy who made it decides to give it a go and give us something really special that is definitely worth paying for. This is basically almost definitely payware material, this anyway. Alright, we'll just start our climb. We'll start tracking this outbound needle. This radio, will now put these into lock mode, or open mode. And once we get above 5,000 feet, we'll activate the autopilot. As we skirt along the Tararua Ranges over here, basically the spine, the equivalent of the Southern Alps, I reckon a few million years in the future, this could be the new Southern Alps kind of thing. It's just a big, massive mountain range runs along this fault line here. Right. Right, we've been given our burrow, our standard, so we'll set our standard. And I'm not too sure if this is going to be going anywhere near our cruise altitude. It is quite high, so we'll be happy with 15,000 feet, I reckon. Alright, we're going to give this autopilot a go. We'll come into here, we'll go flight directors. We'll go airspeed and heading, and we'll turn it on. And perfect, it didn't do its annoying little pitch down that it does do sometimes if you're too low. I think it's because you're too low it does that. Right, we're almost there. Going to now flick over to VOR mode. Just turned it just a bit too much there. Right, I think we can now, judging by this, our VOR and Napier's now has been picked up, so I'm just going to go Napier. And we'll go into VR mode and we'll follow the radios. And I think we will turn on our anti-ice system. I'm not too sure how it all works, but we'll come under here and we'll do light icing, see how that goes. Alright, we'll speed it up and we'll get on to our destination. As we crack through this low cloud layer. And I believe when we're in this altitude we'll sync our props. I'm not too sure if it's replicated in the game or not. We'll turn off our landing lights and our taxi lights now that we're above 10,000 feet. What do we do now? We'll scroll these back actually, and we'll just go and pull the throttles back just ever so slightly. I'm not too sure how much this is simulated, but I do believe you almost use it like a fuel lean sort of thing. But yeah, it's definitely shooting on up into the sky, which is good. And I think we will just... I'm going to update my cruise altitude. We'll just level out at 15,000 feet. I think that's going to be good enough. Actually, we will change it to 17,000 feet, As we get nice and high above the sky. As we fly over the spine of the North Island there, as you can see, got the lowlands on both sides of the this little mountain range here. And we're just going to start pitching our nose down. Until we get to 17,000 feet, and then we're going to click the altitude button to hold our altitude, and that's going to do us perfectly. As we are now, we've left the Manawatu district and we're now into the Hawke's Bay Greater region. Maybe I should have travelled at 15,000 feet to enjoy the you know what, I'm going to go into indicated airspeed. I'm just going to pull the throttles back. And we'll drop our cruise altitude to 15 so I can get some view outside. And while we're here, we'll better set our Gisborne VOR, which is going to be 14.2, so it's hit 14.2 into here. Alright, I think that will do us. That's perfect. Oh, you wouldn't believe it, We've dropped below the altitude, the clouds, but we're now in amongst these clouds. Oh, was that us? No, that wasn't us. Alright, we better start thinking about our approach into Gisborne. So it's going to be runway 32, so we're going to go and see what approach we will do. We'll use the VOR approach. We won't do that full. We'll see if we can get vectors for our approach for final VOR. If that makes sense, our final approach VOR fix as we fly over. Actually, we'll go straight to Gisborne now. Now that we're picking up the Gisborne VOR. I'm just going to slow this down just a bit so we don't get too ahead of ourselves or too far behind ourselves. Right, I'm going to change my arrival settings. I'm going to do VOR. Right, let's see if the vectoring does its job here. And we'll set up this one here for reference for our final approach, which is going to be 342. Oh, 324. And we have been given our QNH2, haven't we? So we're going to set that to 12. And we have been given our vectors now, so we're going to just switch over to heading mode, and we'll get this now set up for our final approach fix. Final approach course 324. And we can probably start thinking about descending soon. So yeah, we'll start our descent now, eh? And we want to be at 3,000 feet for our... Oh no, we want to be... at least 10 nautical miles out. We want it to be at 1,900 feet. So we're going to lock out these now. Disengage the prop sync, and we'll scroll these up to, I believe, 100%. We'll turn on our landing lights and our taxi lights so they're all ready to go. We'll turn off our anti-ice. We don't need that. We don't need our fuel heaters, not that we had them on anyway. Everything else looks pretty good. We'll just shallow out our descent just a touch. Beautiful, this part of the country. I've only been around here once, but it's really beautiful, wild part of New Zealand. Very very rural and very wild out here. Right, I'm just going to slow the game down just a touch, and we should set our radio altitude. So it's going to be 380, basically 400 feet we'll set it to. And when we're at 6.3 nautical miles, we want to start 2.9 degrees descent, which will be roughly about 500 or 600 feet per minute we'll be looking at. Lovely coastline along here, isn't it? And that's basically us at our descent, at our 1900 feet. Right, we'll go altitude mode, and I think we're just going to have to take over from here. Not too sure how this is going to all play out, so I'm just going to go We're basically on our VOR now, so we're good to start descending, I do believe. Yep. Because it's visibility is clear, we're just going to be using our visual now. Landing gear down, we'll just sort out our flaps as well. Got visual on runway. Bit of a windy day here in Gizzy. And I don't think we need full flaps, we should just be fine. Actually, we'll put them out because it is a smaller runway. Just drop our altitude so it can get back onto the glide slope, the puppy there. And this airport is very unique, Gisborne, for its railway track that cuts right across the runway. But unfortunately, I do believe the train line is down at the moment, so they no longer use it. And here we are, folks. Touchdown, that's railway track there with the gates that close for the trains. It's the only place in the world where trains stop for other things. Right, we are now rolled out to the end of the runway. Actually, there's no turning bay, so we can just turn around here. We can raise our flaps. We use a bit of differential braking and just spin this nose around. We can now turn off the runway lights, the landing lights I should say. We can now turn off the P2 heaters. And I believe we're on gate 2, so won't use that. These are not taxiways, although the F27 does have grass capabilities, but we'll just stick to the taxiway. We have no idea if that grass is soft or especially with the rains that they've been having over the last couple of weeks. So there are the gates there that shut when a plane's on approach and the train has to come to a stop. Right, we'll turn off our taxi lights now, we don't need those anymore. And here we are, folks, we're here in Gisborne. So we're in gate 2 just up here, and because it's a northerly we'll be pointing our nose into the wind. And because we don't have any guys out there, we're just marshalling us in, we'll just go ahead and do it ourselves. Just using a bit of differential braking. I do love using these parking bays, and we stop right here. You can hear the engines spooling down, and we can now go ahead and shut down these engines. While we're up here, we'll click on this power to give us our power back. Then we can turn off these lights like so. And we'll go ahead and open up the doors, eh? And this is old school, the pilots, I'm pretty sure the ground crew will be already opening up these doors because there's no such thing as health and safety back there and people knew what they're doing. But here we are, folks, we've arrived here at beautiful Gisborne Airport. And we'll do a quick turnaround flight, we'll do it in a separate video, but we head on down to Woodburn, which is the airport for Blenheim. So we'll see you guys very shortly.